So, Mad Riot is currently on pole position. You've got Jennifer Lee in the pit lane in P2. A Giant Stick is on his way in the pit lane as well. Alfie Edwards. And I think that might be it. Ace Clara is trying to improve the Williams driver. Down towards the checkered flag we go. And he will start his final run. Slow P Gamer is 2.5 tenths up, but he runs wide. The Ferrari is out of qualifying, and P9 will be his best. A Giant Stick in P3. Oh my god! Slow P Gamer needs to get off the racing line there. My goodness me, Mad Riot. Luckily, he weren't on a flying lap, but you don't stop in the middle of the track. He's trying to build up his battery to get one more run in, but you can't do that in the middle of the line. So Slow P Gamer is going to go again. Vicious Vicar is not going to improve. P10 is going to be his best starting position. I don't actually know what happened, guys. The stream ended and I don't know why. You know what I've just noticed? You can't see any of the overlays either. So bear with me. You've not been able to see any of the overlays because I've used a different thing to get the game. 1 minute. So, but I don't want, I want the, how do I do that again? How am I? What is going on? That's annoying. So you can't see any of the overlays. So that is Mad Riot that takes pole position. Oh, Slow P Gamers. Oh no, he's not on a lap. So Slow P, Mad Riot has taken pole position, a 1:16.3. He has been phenomenal recently, his pace. So I wonder why you can't see any of the overlays. So, Fingy told me how to do this, but I can't remember. Fingy told me how to do it. Not Super Trugos, Yawn. Capture third party overlays such as the stream, yeah. That's annoying, that. So you've not been able to see any of the overlays. Well, that was a bloody waste then, weren't it, using all them overlays throughout the race? Also, I have no idea why the stream went down. It was still saying I was live, but it just went down. It was good job I was watching it as well. But the stream just went down. Right, Slow P Gamer, come on, mate. What are you doing? You've been driving around slowly for 2 minutes. Like, come on, let's go. It's absolutely pointless. So that was game capture. Right, there you have it. So Mad Riot takes pole position here in Hungary. It's a great position to be in. The sandbags are well and truly off Mad Riot. The Sauber driver, P1, then Jennifer Lee, Giant Stick, Alfie Edwards, then Ace Drift. Then Honda VTEC in P6. No, it's not Honda VTEC, it's Wobbly Lizard, Jesus. Wobbly Lizard in P6. Then you've got Ace Claret, Nimblecat, Manzifa, and Vicious Vicar are your starting 10 for today's Grand Prix. Yeah, Kylan, the stream went down. I didn't even know it had gone down. I only realised because I looked down at my phone and the stream was blue screen, but it was still saying I was live. Really strange. So we're about to go into the race, and I can't get any of the overlays on the stream either as well. They won't show up. I can't remember how I did it last time, but I have to capture the whole monitor, and I don't know how to do that. Anyway, it is what it is. So we're about to go into the race. We are live for Tier 4. We are back. Honestly, I was watching the screen and I've got this behind me, and this was blue screen, and I was like, oh, why is it blue screen? And then I looked down and it was saying I was still live, so I was like, oh god. So I don't know what happened, but we're back. It's going to be a good race, this. What are your predictions, guys, for the race? What do you think? Mad Riot on pole position as well, and I know Mad Riot has won a championship previously. He was the Tier 3 World Champion in Season 6. Well, it was the bronze tier back then, but it was Tier 3 now. Jennifer for the win, says Kylan. That is not a bad shot. I think there'll be a great battle between Jennifer and Mad G going down in towards Turn 1. So yeah, it would be interesting to see. We've got the formation lap starting as well, so I will. I'm losing, says Flames. Hey, as long as you finish 15th, gets points. So if 2 retire, you've got your guaranteed points. We will just jump to the intermission screen so you can see what's going on the track as well. Nimble Podium, says Dondedge, free safety cars. I just hope Nimble doesn't go out. He's had so much bad luck going in towards Turn 1 the last couple of weeks. Like, I genuinely just hope that he doesn't get in any collisions on the opening lap. Oh, cheers, Don. Thank you. Yeah, you know what, mate? I'm so happy with it. Like, because I've never really had a big tattoo, but the guy did an amazing job. Cheers, mate. So 17 drivers. I need to figure out how I get that them overlays back up, because I'm capturing just the game now, not the actual screen. So SimGrid Formula 7 racing. Come and check us out if you want to do Le Mans, Assetto Corsa. And all 17 drivers getting ready. Let's have a look at something. So we are here in Hungary for the Hungaro. Oh, where did it go? Oh, that should be below that. Sorry, 1 second. So, I will get used to all this. We are here in Hungary, in Budapest, at the Hungaro Ring. There's 2 DRS zones, and then you can go down in towards Turn 1. That's where you'll see all the action, and there's 14 corners around here. And we are about to go live here in Tier 4 as the drivers line up on the grid. The Sauber will get us underway for round 8. I was just been messing around with everything because I couldn't get the overlays on, but as long as we've got a stream, that's the main thing. Here we go. This is it. Mad Riot, Jennifer Lee, a giant stick, 3 very quick drivers. Shiny Swans left the session right at the start. Hopefully he can get back in. But here we are, round 8 for Formula 7 racing here in Hungary, Budapest. The lights are taking a very, very long time to get going. Nimble Car's left the session as well. I think, is that going to have to be a restart? I can't get him back in. And it is like, yeah, there's an issue, isn't there? There's an issue here. So Slopey Gamer, Ace Claret down in towards Turn 1. Is it going to be a restart? I don't know if I need to restart it. There's a connection problem here. Oh, and my camera's messed up. Oh, and they've collided. Yeah, there's communicating with online services. I don't know if we need to restart it. There's a problem with the lobby here. Yeah, there's never really been a problem in Tier 4 though with the formation lap. And Nimble always shows offline as well, so it takes me ages to try and get to. Oh, there he was. Yeah, I need to figure out the problem with this. See if he can get back in. I'll see what the issue is with the lobby. Mad Riot leads. I'm sorry about the start. Yeah, I'll sort the formation up. If Nimblecat can get back in and Shining Swan can get back in, I'm just gutted for them. I never know what to do when something like that happens. So, Ron Mexico, it's fire, goes through on Honda VTEC, and Ron Mexico, Shining Swarm is at the back. I think Nimblecat might be back in. Yeah, he is. Shining Swarm is joined. Ron Mexico is through on Honda VTEC. That is Mad Riot. This is a giant stick. Fighting for the lead of the Grand Prix, down in towards turn 1. The Red Bull will go the long way around. Mad Riot squeezes him to the outside. Nimblecat is down in P11, but he is back in. I think he's back in the race. I hope so. Please get back in. Mad Riot, a giant stick. I have invited him on EA. No, I don't think he's back in yet. Oh, no. So, all 17 drivers still in the race. No complications down in towards turn 1. If Nimblecat can get back in, he's actually still well in this race. There we go. Nimble is in. I thought that's how you let it, Jake. I did tell her that was okay. Giant Stick is now up to P2. He got an overtake off Jennifer Lee. Nimblecat is back in, thankfully. So he will return to his position. He is down in P12. He has lost a couple of positions. But thankfully, everybody is through in the opening laps and the race is okay. I do apologise to Nimblecat. He weren't involved in a collision for once, except he wasn't in his car this time. So, I do apologise. There goes the two Mercedes. Shining Swarm and Honda VTEC going wheel to wheel. Mad Riot sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as he goes down in towards turn 1. The Red Bull is going to try again. A giant stick around the outside. Can he make it stick this time? He does go a little bit wide. He does get DRS, but that's a good exit from Mad Riot. Ace Claret is a second behind him. Here comes Alfie Edwards around the outside of the Williams driver down in towards the hairpin. That is Slow P Gamer in the Ferrari that is round and missing an M plate, and Slow P Gamer has got damage. It's fire go to Papi and it's fire eyes, and that is the McLaren of Ron Mexico. Oh, a huge collision here in Hungary. So, drama already. Nimblecat is now back in his car. He's chasing down Slow P Gamer. Here comes Wobbly Lizard on the back of Ace Claret. Then you've got the two Hasses of Jennifer and Alfie Edwards. The Aston Martin practically pushing Ace Claret through turn 11. And the Williams going a little bit wide. Ace Claret maybe feeling the pressure of Wobbly Lizard breathing down his neck. Coming out of turn 12 and up towards the left-hander at turn 13. Yeah, Nimblecat is definitely in his car now. He's starting to find that pace again. That is Ron Mexico on Shining Swan. Shining Swan will come back at him. And he does have to go a little bit wide. He doesn't have damage, but look at this. The Red Bull now has the inside line, and Mad G doesn't cover off the inside this time. And that means Giant Stick with that double dose of DRS will get the rear wing open. And through goes the Red Bull into the lead of the Grand Prix. What does Jennifer Lee does? He has a little look. And the Sauber goes wide. And now here comes Jennifer Lee. Mad Riot made a mistake. And it is the Haas driver up to P2. Mad Riot demoted from the lead of this Grand Prix to third on the grid. In towards turn 4 we go. And Ace Drift took a bit of a chunk of that apex. Nimblecat is back out again. What is going on? He cannot catch a break, that man. He cannot catch a break. Luckily, AI is on 60, so he shouldn't lose loads of time, but he will lose a little bit. Nimblecat is back in. Jennifer on the back of Giant Stick. So, Mad Riot is already a second behind, so he's falling off rapidly here. 18 and 20% of his tyres, so it can't be that. Alfie Edwards is losing a little bit of time. Ace Claret. And then he's got Wobbly Lizard, but look at the front two. Jennifer Lee chasing down the American. We've not seen a safety car in Hungary at all today. But he's going to need one, Nimblecat. That is a yellow flag. That is a McLaren going very slow. That's Ron Mexico into the wall. How is that not a safety car? The McLaren driver is into the wall. I think he's stuck as well. So the Papaya not having the luck. Yeah, he is out. Ron Mexico is out of this Grand Prix. What has happened to Ron? We know he's got so much pace as well, Ron Mexico. He'll be very frustrated about that. The Ferrari goes through. So a Giant Stick 8/10 clear of Jennifer Lee. Mad Riot had that one lap shootout pace, but in the race at the moment he's just starting to drift away as Alfie Edwards starts to close that gap. Slow P Gamer, fastest in sector 1, and that's a 3-second time penalty for Alfie Edwards. That is going to help Mad Riot. Where is One Kidney Jim? Is up to P9. I tell you, he's having a good race. Now, if Nimblecat can recover, he's still well inside the points here. He's on 6 points in P11 at the moment. But there's definitely connection issues somewhere. So 2.3 he's got Honda VTEC is in the pit lane early on lap 6. Oh, he's round! Giant Stick is into the wall. He's missing an end plate. The leader is round. Mad Riot is back through. Here comes Alfie Edwards. And a Giant Stick has made a huge mistake. You've got Ron Mexico who's really quick. And you've got a Giant Stick. Both the American drivers have had a mistake and into the wall they go. Jennifer is now your race leader. And he's 2.5 clear. That will move everybody up a position when Giant Stick pits and gets that front wing replaced. Luckily, he's not lost that amount of positions, but will he go into the pit lane? Nimblecat is back out. What is going on with Nimble? And Ron Mexico is out. That is Alfie Edwards chasing down a Giant Stick and up the inside. Can he switch it back? Alfie Edwards and a Giant Stick, even with damage, is going wheel to wheel with the Haas driver. And back through goes Alfie Edwards, and a Giant Stick will be demoted to P4. That is a fire ice. And that is a bit of a collision. That's the Red Bull coming back out right in front of Tapapi. Tapapi having to take a void in action. Around the outside goes Tapapi on its fire ice. I do feel for Nimblecat, I really do. It's so annoying because he's had so much bad luck, and then when he finally gets through turn 1 without an incident, he bloody keeps disconnecting. It's frustrating. So in towards turn 6 and 7 for Shining Swarm. That is Wobbly Lizard. He's on the back of Ace Claret. If he can try and get in and get to the end of the race. But it's just frustrating, it really is for him. So the front three are starting to, the gaps are starting to open up quite a bit here. A Giant Stick on Alfie Edwards. Even with that missing end plate and that front damage, he is still staying in a decent position in P4. He's Nimblecat back in his car. Let me check. Yeah, he is back in his car, thankfully. Hopefully he doesn't continue to have problems. I mean, all it takes one safety car and everything's going to change, isn't it? Oh, that is Ace Ace Drift with a track limit violation, and now here comes Vicious Vicar. That is its fire ice on Shining Swarm around the outside of the Mercedes, but Vicious Vicar looking for the inside move on that McLaren. Can he get it in towards turn 13 at the left-hander? And now look at One Kidney Jim. He's trying to make a move. The Alpine on the Sauber into the final corner, and then out to the pit lane straight. In towards turn 1 for these drivers. There's a tasty little battle going on through the middle. Look how close they all are. Remember, 57 drivers we've had on the grid already today. Out of turn 3. And then slightly uphill towards the left-hander. A quick left-hander. You just have to ease off ever so slightly to make it. Oh, and giant stick. Jesus, he nearly went again there in the same position. Mad Riot is staying with Jennifer Lee. His lap times have just drifted off a little bit. Jennifer Lee is setting around a 120.4 and Mad Riot is setting around a 120.9 per lap. A wobbling lizard, always Claret was wobbling all over the place there. Here comes Vicious Vicar, late on the brakes, a little tap up the back of Ace Drift. Nimblecat is now starting to get his foot down and he's comfortably back in this race. 3 seconds away from Real Aston Army. Mad Riot is into the pit lane. He's going for that early stop. The Sauber driver is in and he's going for the undercut. It's a Haas 1-2. I see yellow flags. I don't know why. Nimblecat is catching up to Real Aston Army really quickly here. Vicious Vicar, Ace Drift, Wobbly Lizard. There'll be some communication between the drivers depending on who's going to pit first. That is Mad Riot. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out behind Nimblecat in P11. But he's on fresh hard tyres, 25 laps. He's going to go for the 2-stopper here, Mad Riot. That is Slow P Gamer that is through Shining Swarm. Honda VTEC. Not had a greatest of races, and he goes round. Oh, wow. And that is the Mercedes into the wall. And Honda VTEC having really bad luck here. Remember, we haven't seen a safety car in any of the races thus far. To Pappy on the back of its Fire Ice, coming around turn 7. So through turn 6 and 7 we go. The right and left hander. A giant stick on the back of Alfie Edwards. And a Mad Riot. And that is a giant stick that is in. But remember, he's going to have a front wing repaired. That is One Kidney Jim. Is One Kidney Jim going to hold up the Sauber? Giant stick is in. Ace Drift is in. Vicious Vicar is in. Nimblecat is all over the back of that Ferrari now. We were waiting for the opportunity. He's been catching him, and now here he comes up the inside. Goes Nimblecat in the Alpine. He's got the straight line speed. He's got the DRS, but look at Mad Riot as well. Into the slipstream on them fresh tyres. He's going to go around the outside in towards turn 1. The Alpine will hold his own line, but around the outside goes the Sauber, and the Alpine holding on, and back comes the Ferrari who just backs out. And Mad Riot with a brilliant overtake. Nimblecat just holding on to position. That was some good racing there. Mad Riot lighting up the circuit with quickest sectors. Where is he going to come out though? So Mad Riot is already in front of Vicious Vicar. Where did the other drivers come out? It is a Giant Stick came out in P13. Slow P Gamer on its Fire Ice. Giant Stick does not want to get held up behind these two battling in towards turn 6 and 7. Go the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Its Fire Ice will not want to hold up his teammate either. This is crucial for him. The Ferrari makes a mistake. Giant Stick has to go slow to avoid colliding. The Ferrari is Slow P Gamer. Its Fire Ice are really tussling. And that's the Ferrari off the track. And there's a good runoff area. And that has saved Manzifa from colliding with the wall. Shining Swarm looking for a way through. What about the front four? One Kidney Jim is into P4. He's on the back of Wobbly Lizard. He'll get that DRS. So will the Aston Martin driver. And up the inside of turn 2. Nimblecat is through. Alfie Edwards into the pit lane. Nimblecat back into P6 now in the Alpine. And it is all starting to roll into positions. A Giant Stick is through on his teammate. So he has let him through. So teamwork has been displayed once again. Around turn 5 goes Wobbly Lizard. It is Jennifer Lee that leads by 9 seconds to Ace Claret. He is on a different stratosphere at the moment, is Jennifer Lee. So that is Real Aston Army. That is down into P10. He got overtaken by Vicious Vicar. He's now chasing down that Haas of Alfie Edwards. Ace Claret is into the pit lane. So, a giant stick setting the fastest lap. One Kidney Jim, does he stay out and hold Mad Riot? What are the tyre situation like? Mad Riot on them fresh hards. Somebody going slowly. That is a giant stick on the Real Aston Army. That is to Pappy on Slow P Gamer, who's into the wall. Slow P Gamer having a torrid Grand Prix here in Budapest. Alfie Edwards picking up another 3-second time penalty. One Kidney Jim from that qualifying ban. He's doing a great job. That is Alfie Edwards. Ace Drift through on Nimblecat. And now next in line is Alfie Edwards. They're queuing up. Remember, the Alpine driver hasn't pitted yet. Here comes Alfie Edwards in the hats down in towards turn 12. We are 14 laps out of 35. And he's looking for a way through. Oh, he's a bit impatient there. He's seen a tiny gap and he went for it. So Alfie Edwards is through on Nimblecat. Vicious Vicar now. The battle of the old dogs here. Nimblecat and Vicious Vicar. These boys would have seen many races over their years of experience. And we will see that displayed in this battle, I am sure. And up the inside, and here comes Vicious Vicar. It's only a short run up and he does back out. That is what I'm talking about. Over the apex. Slow P Gamer is out in the pit lane. And that is it for Manzifa and Shining Swarm. It's Fire Ice. They are swapping positions. Back on board with Vicious Vicar and Nimblecat. That is Mad Riot that is through on One Kidney Jim. The Sauber driver. Now it's the other Alpine and Sauber. And where is this Williams coming from? Ace Claret was looking for a way through. Wobbly Lizard and Jennifer Lee are into the pit lane. So is One Kidney Jim. 20 laps remaining. Mad Riot is now your race leader. So Slow P Gamer is out. Nimblecat is into the pit lane as well. So he is now going to get them fresh tyres on. Oh my god. Oh, he is going to be kicking himself, Nimblecat. Honestly, he's going to be kicking himself. He went so slow into that pit lane to avoid getting a penalty and then sped up at the last minute and went over it. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself. There goes the Alpine of One Kidney Jim. He has come out in P9. I tell you, he's on for a good race, One Kidney Jim. He could potentially end up in a really strong position after starting dead last. Well, 15th. Ace Claret on the back of Vicious Vicar. The Sauber, the two Saubers working well together once again here in Hungary. So 19 laps to go. It is starting to just die down a little bit. Jennifer Lee goes past his teammates. So teamwork for the Haas drivers. But look at the undercut. Mad Riot is 8.1 clear. Giant Stick, here he comes. Remember, he's got that front wing repaired now, so he's just going to be as quick. Giant Stick down the inside in the Red Bull. The Williams driver leaves him the space, but he doesn't leave him too much. He's not going to be that polite as they go down in towards turn 3. And once again, side by side. Exciting racing for the pair of them. He's rolled the curb. Oh, he's held on to it. Tokyo Drift style from Ace Clearer. Wow, what a drift from the Williams. Whew, that was exciting. So, Giant Stick is through. One Kidney Jim and Wobbly Lizard are chasing him down. We've got Nimble Cat in P12 with that time penalty. We are yet to see a safety car in any of these Grand Prix. I'm sure there's one due, but some of these drivers need one very soon. So, we are on board with the P2 and P3 driver. We are at the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. The McLaren of Ace Drift, Jennifer Lee chasing him down. He's going to go up the inside, and the championship leader is back into P2, and he's going to get no favours, Mad Riot, from this McLaren. Alfie Edwards in the other half. Yeah, Jennifer Lee is now on the charge. 7.5 seconds behind the leader. There goes One Kidney Jim and Wobbly Lizard up the inside. Can the Aston Martin driver exchange a few words through the visors? They can, as they just speak to each other as they go down in towards turn 2. The Aston Martin later on the brakes. One Kidney Jim trying to just hold on. One Kidney Jim been involved in a lot of incidents recently. He'll want to try and keep it clean. Nimblecat is now up to P10. So still some decent points for the Alpines. So, One Kidney Jim picking up that time penalty. Jennifer Lee's caught up to Mad Rat by a second there. A second. Yeah, his last lap a 120.4, a 121.4 for Mad G, and a 199 from Jennifer Lee. There goes Alfie Edwards up the inside of Ace Drift. Can he use the old switcheroo tactics? Here comes Giant Stick. Can he do the same on Vicious Vicar? This is really where you're only going to see the overtakes. Out of turn 1 down towards turn 2. Ace Drift does get a good exit, and that is Vicious Vicar that gives him the space, and through goes the American. Vicious Vicar just happy to be in that position at the moment. One Kidney Jim got re-overtaken by Wobbly Lizard. Nimblecat in P10, but they could do with a safety car to sort of gather up. Then Nimblecat can get rid of that 10-second time penalty. Let's have a look at the penalties to 10 seconds. Remember, Alfie Edwards, Ace Drift and One Kidney Jim all with penalties. So if there is a safety car, it will be interesting to see where the positions end up. Shiny Swan to Pappy. Remember, Slow P Gamer and Ron Mexico out of this race. Vicious Vicar is not letting a Giant Stick get away just yet. But Jennifer Lee, my goodness, he is lapping 1.5 seconds quicker than Mad Riot a lap. I think it is literally only a matter of time. So, with another penalty there, here comes Vicious Vicar. He is sticking with Giant Stick, and this will help him as well. One Kidney Jim down towards turn 2. Is he going to go for that late lunge? He doesn't. That is a yellow flag. I don't know who that is for, but it's now back to green. Ace Claret with a track limit time penalty. So that is going to help Wobbly Lizard and One Kidney Jim. I'm waiting for that. I mean, Nimblecat got a podium well, he got 2 podiums last week. Tabapi is through on its Fire Ice. I'm waiting for that one big race where Nimble Cat, because he's got the pace, but he's just had really bad luck. Mad Riot only 4.2 in front of Jennifer Lee. Jennifer Lee's tyres are on 13%. Mad Riot's are on 29 and 32. So that is the difference at the moment. Jennifer Lee is on an absolute charge. He needs... Mad Riot, even though he's leading the race, he could also do with a safety car here. Wonky Jim. Him and Wobbly Lizard have been going at it for quite a few laps. 15 to go. Remember, we do have Tier 1 in 2.5 hours. Real Tsunami on Shining Swarm. It's such an easy track to pick up a penalty on as well for track limits, because it's you're sort of on the teetering on the edge of every corner, aren't you? Real Tsunami picking up a time penalty. Here comes Ace Claret on Vicious Vicar, who's now started to drop off a giant stick, so he is at risk. I mean, 34% for Ace Claret on his tyres, 25 and 29 for Vicious Vicar. So this is just showing the pace of Ace Claret at the moment. As we go down in towards turn 1. Vicious Vicar had a great sector 3, by the way, the Sauber driver. Jennifer Lee, look at the pace. You can now see him in the distance. In towards turn 5 at the right-hander. I tell you, he is blowing his opposition away here. The last lap, a 120.7 for Jennifer Lee and a 122.2 for Mad Riot. Honda VTEC with another time penalty. Nathan, we got news. What's the news? Salute. 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 VIP. Take a selfie. Say cheese. Mad Riot in the lead. 1.8 clear of Jennifer Lee. A giant stick. Oh, a little snap there. Vicious Vicar is having to defend now. You can see that Williams all over his tail. We're leading the 12 Hour of Le Mans. That is brilliant news. Well done to the F7 Racing team out there on track for the 12 Hour of Le Mans. They are leading. That is fantastic news. So Ace Claret in P7. Here comes Wonky Jim on the inside of Wobbly Lizard. Out of turn 1, he'll get the DRS. And he switches now to the inside of turn 2. That was clever racing. The Aston Martin driver leaves in the space. Wonky Jim can't get the car stopped. And oh, that was close. But he's in a great position here, Wonky Jim. So every other car has crashed. Oh, wow. So we're winning by default. I'll take it. A giant stick is now on the back of Ace Drift. He's going to pick up 2 positions here, a giant stick, because Alfie Edwards and Ace Drift have both got penalties. That is another yellow flag. Quickly reduced. Jennifer Lee is now within DRS range of Mad Riot. Is Mad Riot going to go for the 2-stop though? If he was, would he not have pitted there? Out of the final chicane, and Jennifer Lee, the championship leader, on the back of the constructors leader of Mad Riot, down in towards turn 1. But Mad Riot has got a lot of straight line speed. He's holding it well. So I think Jennifer Lee's going to have to get him into the corners. I think that'll be the only way. Mad Riot leading by half a second to Jennifer Lee behind him in towards turn 3, and then we go up the hill. Jennifer is closing at every single sector. So in towards turn 5 at the right hander. Jennifer, remember, 1.5 seconds quicker pretty much every lap. Alfie Edwards picking up another track limit penalty. And that was not a great entrance from Jennifer Lee. Loses a couple of attempts to the Sauber, but it won't hurt him. He knows it's just a matter of time. He's just got to be patient as he goes into turn 11. And Mad Riot, he's got to put on a Carlos Sainz masterclass of defending-esque here to try and hold Jennifer Lee behind, or do everything to hold him behind for as long as possible until he pits and goes for that two-stopper. If he can hold up Mad Riot, if he can hold up Jennifer Lee, sorry, and just get him to kill his tyres a little bit more and then go into the pit lane for that two-stopper, but then does Jennifer follow him in? So Mad Riot is going to cover off the inside. Jennifer's going to have to go the long way round, but he'll have that grip. Mad Riot, Jennifer Lee, wheel to wheel, got the Sauber and the Haas, but he's going to get that double dose of DRS. Jennifer Lee will now have the inside line going down in towards turn 2 for the lead of the Grand Prix. Jennifer backs out. Mad Riot goes later on the brakes, and back into the lead goes the Sauber. Jennifer is going to have to give it a second time look as they go up the hill. Yellow flags are waving. It is a Mercedes through sector 2 that has had an issue. That is Wobbly Lizard and One Kidney Jim also going out of turn 2, around turn 3 to the right-hander. The Aston Martin stays in front. Back on board with the leaders through turn 6 and 7. Now Mad Riot is doing exactly what he needs to do here. Holding off that Haas driver for as long as possible with 11 laps remaining. That is real Aston Martin. That is through on Shining Swan. The Ferrari up to P11. Remember, Shining Swan getting 4 points here as it stands. So this is going to be the tricky part again for Mad Riot, holding him off down in towards turn 1. And there he is. Mad Riot is into the pit lane. He held Jennifer up, and now he goes into the pit lane for his second pit stop. Is Alfie Edwards also due a second pit stop? His tyres are on 47% of the left rear, so potentially a giant stick is in for his second pit stop. Ace Drift stays out. Vicious Vicar, is he going to double stack? He's not, but he is now chasing down Ace Drift, and he's going to go up the inside, and Vicious Vicar now moves into the podium places, barring a pit stop. Back comes the Papaya. Can he bring the position back to him? Vicious Vicar holds on. He's got the DRS. He moves out to the left. Oh, and Ace Drift is onto the grass. And then he leaves the space going down in towards turn 2. Ace Drift backed out though, just to avoid a collision. That was close. Look at this, brilliant racing though. So, Mad Riot has come out in 5 seconds of free air. Mr. Best, what's your racing name? Ace Drift is far too good for this tier. Are you sure? He qualified. He didn't qualify pole position, and I'm pretty sure he's still got a pit yet. So he's not. That's not his true position. I think he's pretty much comfortable in this tier. I think it's a really good tier for him. Alfie Edwards into the pit lane now. We try and keep everybody in the most competitive tier possible for their pace, and I think he's in the right tier here, Ace Claret. Jennifer Lee is leading by 11 seconds to Ace Claret to Wobbly Lizard, but Ace Claret will probably have to pit before the end of this race. One Kidney Jim in P4, then comes Mad Riot. Is One Kidney Jim going to try and hold up Mad Riot? Who knows? A giant stick comes out in front of Alfie Edwards. Vicious Vicar is now back out. Ace Drift. Nimblecat has not gone into the pit lane yet. Lewis, you asked me to reserve, didn't you? Yes, there is space. Leave it with me. There absolutely is space. I will sort it out. I forgot about you asking. Ace Drift should be tier 3. He had lots of points, then got sent down because of bad qualifying. He got sent down because of bad qualifying? I don't think so. Were you in the decision making of that? It was actually nothing to do with qualifying. It was because of the race pace and the stats that we checked up on. So what we do, we go through the drivers' recent results and we compare their times to the times of the drivers in the tier below or the tier above. And then we see where they would have qualified, and we see where they would have finished in the race, and we see what their lap time and their race pace and their consistency is like compared to the tier below or above. And then we see if their times would be best suited to that particular tier. It's not just a case of looking at qualifying and going, no, you qualified in P10, you don't deserve to be here. Absolutely not. It is not like that at all. There's a lot more that goes into it. We don't just drop a driver. And we did it for him. We didn't do it for us. We did it for him. We want him to enjoy the racing, and we want him to be competitive as possible. And we don't want him racing in a tier if there's 14 drivers that are way quicker than him in that tier. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that was the case, but we want all drivers to enjoy the race, have fun, and for it to be as close as possible. So no, it's not a bad thing being moved down. It's probably a good thing. It gives him confidence. It lets him have good races. It puts him into better positions. It gives him more consistency, more race pace. It gives him better wheel-to-wheel battling. It gives him more confidence. It's not a bad thing. So, Wobbly Lizard up to P2. Jennifer Lee is leading. Mad Riot on the back of One Kidney Jim now. Remember, he went for another pit stop, but he's got a lot to do to chase down Jennifer Lee. Down into turn 13 at the left-hander, but he's got to navigate around this Alpine. Ace Claret is into the pit lane, so he's getting his second stop done. So Wobbly Lizard stays out, so does Jennifer Lee. Ace Claret is into the pit lane. One Kidney Jim is into the podiums, but for how long? Here comes Mad Riot in the Sauber. A giant stick setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Ace, Alfie Edwards and Vicious Vicar and Ace Drift in the McLaren, all coming down the pit straight. And there goes Ace Claret onto them fresh mediums. The boy is going to be quick. Nimble Cat coming out of turn 14. So, here comes Mad Right. He wants that podium place back off the Alpine of One Kidney Jim, who's doing a tremendous job from 15th on the grid. His tyres are only 45%, but he's got a lot of drivers with fresh rubber behind him. 7.5 laps to go. Jennifer Lee leads by 13 seconds. His tyres are on 40%. He'll probably get to the end, but how quick will he be after, 5 laps remaining? So Mad Riot, he needs to get past One Kidney Jim and start to chase down Wobbly Lizard, and that was a little wobble from One Kidney Jim. A giant stick, 1.5 seconds behind in that Red Bull. So the Sauber in front of the Red Bull, but it's the Alpine that is holding them up. Wobbly Lizard needs to take this opportunity to try to escape a little bit. Does the Aston Martin. So out of turn 14, this is it. He needs to get this right. The DRS will be enabled. Is he going to burn that battery? He is. And this is going to be his opportunity. Down the inside goes the Sauber driver, and Mad Riot is now back into the podiums. What about a giant stick, a little snap of the rears? And Mad Riot is now chasing down the Aston Martin in P2. He's 14.8 seconds behind Jennifer Lee. Is there enough laps left to catch up to the Haas driver? Who knows? Here comes a giant stick on One Kidney Jim in towards turn 4. Slows down to try and cut up the inside. Around turn 5 at the right-hander. And then we come into the tricky part of the circuit. One Kidney Jim just holding on. Remember, Vicious Vicar, a giant stick without penalties. Same with Jennifer and Wobbly Lizard. Oh, and a giant stick. Oh, yeah, he held on to that. He did really well, actually, because I thought he was going to go flying off the track. Mad Riot only half a second behind Wobbly Lizard, so he's caught up to him pretty quickly. Ace Claret picking up another track limit, but it's not a penalty. He needs to get past Wobbly Lizard just like he did with One Kidney Jim and get into some clean air. But he's got to do it now. He's got to burn that battery. He's got to open that rear wing. And he's going to have to go up the inside of the Aston Martin of Wobbly Lizard. And there goes a giant stick as well through on One Kidney Jim. Wobbly Lizard trying to return the favour, but Mad Riot's got the grip and through he goes. The gap now 13.5 seconds to the leader. And the Sauber driver, the chase is on, but there's only 5.5 laps remaining. And I'm not sure there's enough laps left in this race to fight for the lead for Mad Riot, but you don't know what will happen to Jennifer Lee. He's on them really old tyres and they're only going to get worse as the race progresses. However, Mad Riot is on mediums, whereas in Jennifer Lee is on hards. So they're probably going to be about the same tyre wear at the end of the race, to be honest, because Jennifer's on like 40 and Mad Riot's on 20. So Tapapi goes through on Real Aston Army, the V-Carb. Alfie Edwards chasing down One Kidney Jim. He's going to have to try and hold up for positions now. And Alfie, remember, he does have a big time penalty. I think he has 9 seconds all in all. And up the inside he goes. Oh, he was trying to force his way through there, Alfie Edwards. And that nearly cost him this race. And he's going up the inside again. He needs to be patient and just wait for that straight. Wait for the DRS and then open that rear wing as he's doing. That is a giant stick that is thrown. Wobbly Lizard. That's what he's doing. Being patient, waiting for that straight. Here comes Alfie Edwards. On One Kidney Jim, goes around the outside. He is going to make it stick. And that is better from Alfie Edwards. That is how it's done. Ace Claret and Ace Strip. P8 and P9 for the McLaren and the Williams. Nimble Cat in at P10. Still 8 points on the board for him. 12.2 seconds for Mad Riot on Jennifer Lee. Just going to have a look at the time. So last lap was a 1:21.6 for Jennifer and a 1:20.5 for Mad Riot. So only a second between them on that last lap. He is not going to catch him, even with them fresh tyres and that's 2 pit stops. He's not going to catch Jennifer. Jennifer's going to run away with this, and if he's only catching up by a second now, the more them mediums fall off, he's not going to catch up to him as much. Here comes Alfie Edwards now on Wobbly Lizard, but this time he should have learned from the One Kidney Jim incident. He just waits for that straight. He's got the battery. He's going to have to DRS. He doesn't need to rush this, because once he gets past Wobbly Lizard, he's got 3 laps to try and find a gap of 9 seconds to keep that P4. Up the inside goes Alfie Edwards and into P4 for the Haas. Wobbly Lizard just going to try and stay where he is for now. Vicious Vicar in the Sauber. He knows that One Kidney Jim's got a penalty in front of him. But once again, another race without a yellow flag, without a VSC, without a safety car. That is the 3rd race today without any. So Jennifer Lee, 47% on them tyres, 28% for Mad G. 10.7 is the gap. Again, on the last lap, only a second between them. Couple of yellow flags, you're absolutely right, Kylan. And a giant stick. Is he going to look for a move on Mad Riot? Who knows? They are both on very similar tyres. Oh, wow, that Red Bull. Jesus, it's fire ice. Whew, I thought giant stick nearly went into him. That's his teammate as well. Jesus. Alfie Edwards. But the blue flags were waving. He had to get out of the way. But that could have ended in disaster at the end of this Grand Prix. That is Vicious Vicar on One Kidney Jim. Oh, Vicious Vicar around the outside. And clean, crisp and calculated from Vicious Vicar. One Kidney Jim is going to try and come back though. Around the outside he goes. But he just doesn't have the grip to stay with Vicious Vicar. The Saubers are now 2 and 6. Still some big points on the board once again for them kick Saubers. Remember, at Formula 7 Racing on TikTok. Remember, if you are looking for the perfect race setup, check out Sim Racing Setups. Use code F7R on checkout for a 5% discount. Ooh, giant stick. And that might have just given Mad Riot a little breathing space going on to the penultimate lap. Lap 34 of 35. So Jennifer Lee 10 seconds clear Just I know in Monza he also was. He didn't show up in Monza. Was it Jeddah? There's been a couple of races where Jenner's been so far clear. Yeah, 4 seconds in Barcelona. They were 6 seconds in Imola. 10 seconds in Mexico. 6 seconds in Bahrain. And now once again. So we are about to go on to the final lap, 35. Through turn 13 and then into the final chicane. Jenef takes us on to the final lap of this Grand Prix. Can Vicious Vicar make up an extra position on Wobbly Lizard? This is so important. It is massive in the grand scheme of things. Out of the final corner, he's got the battery. He's been waiting. He's been eyeing it up. And a Giant Stick is from Mad Riot. Mad Riot and Giant Stick go at it. This is for P2 on the grid on the final lap. Both Saubers are going to be involved in incidents. Sorry, involvements in battling, and Vicious Vicar makes up a position, whereas in Mad Riot loses one, so they counteract each other. One loses points, one gains one. So P3 and P5 for the Saubers. Wobbly Lizard is down to P6. One Kidney Jim is in P7. Mad Riot is still in the podiums, but a Giant Stick is through. Jennifer Lee in the Haas. Once again, dominant, so far clear. And that is... Oh, Giant Stick nearly slid out there. He needs to be careful not to throw this away. That is a yellow flag. I don't know who that's for, but it is Jennifer Lee that will come around. Up to turn 13, down towards turn 14. A Giant Stick and Mad Riot catching up to him. And Jennifer Lee will come through and down towards the line. And Jennifer Lee wins here in Budapest. A Giant Stick so far clear again. Jennifer Lee. A Giant Stick takes P2 and Mad Riot on the podium in P3. Alfie Edwards is going to take P5 as Vicious Vicar is going to come through, and so is Wobbly Lizard. P3 and P4 for the Saubers. Wobbly Lizard in P5. One Kidney Jim. Did anybody else make up any positions? We might have the... yeah, that is Nimblecat in the Alpine that's just coming round. So Nimblecat in the Alpine around turn 14 and up towards the line. He's going to take a P10 after 2 or 3 disconnections of the race. Really unfortunate for him. But he is going to stay in P10. Tapapi is going to take P11. So 5 points on the board for Tapapi. So really good all round. Mad Riot did have front wing damage, by the way. Oh no, that's because he crashed going through the line. Yeah, glad to hear it, Drift. Like I said, mate, it's not a negative thing to be in Tier 4. Absolutely not a negative thing at all. It's great. It means that you're in a competitive tier. Tier 4 isn't like massively slow. It's just a really nice, competitive, clean tier. It means you get confidence, consistency, race pace, you build your race etiquette, everything. It's Fire Ice comes through and takes P14, so he doubles his point to 2. Yeah, well done, Jim. So, let's go through. There you have it. On the top step is Jennifer Lee once again. There we go, the Hong Kong driver. In P2 is the American of a Giant Stick. And then in P3 is Mad Riot. So let's go through the final standings. So it is Jennifer Lee that takes the race victory here in Hungary. A Giant Stick will take P2 and Mad Riot in P3. His Sauber teammate, a Vicious Vicar, in P4, and then Wobbly Lizard in P5. Alfie Edwards takes P6 with one Kidney Jim in P7. Ace Drift takes P8 and Ace Claret in P9. Gee, where's my G? Ah, he's out of the lobby. I was actually going to do an interview. But anyway, forget it. It's my missus' birthday. I'll jump off and go and spend some time with her. Well done, everybody. It's been a great race. We will be back for Tier 1 in an hour and 5 minutes. So make sure you tune in, because I'm going to be on comms once again. So make sure you tune in to Tier 1. Well done to all the drivers. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I really do appreciate it, actually. All tuning in and just sitting with me through the race. I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast. I will sort it out, because you couldn't see the overlays throughout the whole race, so I will sort that out. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting F7, as you always do. It does go a massively long way in supporting Formula 7. And I hope the drivers enjoyed it as well. You know, that's what it's all about. It's about the drivers and their enjoyment and them turning up and enjoying racing. We will just go and send a raid out to somebody, why not, as they're racing. I always like to do it at the end, just so, you know, it gets our name out there, and it just shows support for everybody else that might be, you know, streaming. So well done, everybody. Have a good one, and I'll see you in Tier 1. We'll start the raid, though. If there's still a few people in here, that is. Right, take care, everybody.